talk about government and tech, which honestly feels like watching boomers believing those Facebook AI images are real and asking ChatGPT what its name is. And that's funny when it's just on social media, but it gets a lot less funny when these are the same people making the laws that control this technology. The best example right now is what's happening in the UK. I hope you guys are doing well over there, by the way. First, you have the UK Online Safety Act. It creates a technical requirement for platforms to scan private encrypted messages. Second, UK police are now regularly using live AI facial recognition at public events. And third, there's a big push for mandatory age verification online, which ties your internet activity to your real-world government ID, which is also happening in the US. And here's where my brain gets a little weird. Fun fact, I actually studied law for about 4 years before I switched over to mechanical engineering, which I also didn't finish, by the way. So I'm kind of wired to spot the weird logic and the loopholes in these laws. And the big question is, where does this trend go from here? Well, Europe and US are exploring these technologies too, of course. The whole planet does. Europe has kind of like a police AI thingy going on, and state Trojans, which we call in German Staatstrojaner, which we know for a decade already. But their new AI Act puts more restrictions on mass facial scanning. The US has powerful surveillance laws, but their own break encryption bills have struggled to pass so far. What I find so fascinating is the contrast. The new Europe AI Act prohibits emotional manipulation, and AI saying "I hope you have a nice weekend" could literally be a problem. And at the same time, this same kind of AI technology is being explored and invested for state level security. But there's a fundamental technical problem that makes all of this concerning, in my opinion. The AI itself is a developing technology. Just look at the reports from Israel and their military AI system they are using in Gaza right now. Sources cited in outlets like Plus 972 magazine and The Guardian state these systems have a known 10% error rate. A 10% error rate when you're dealing with sensitive data isn't a small bug. It's a system with profound consequences, especially when reports mention system names like "Where's Daddy?" It just shows that this technology is much better suited for a development lab or a game than for deployment in a real world on real people in a war zone. That's actually really disgusting. Look, this isn't about being against safety. It's about how we achieve it. Imagine if your home was made of glass. That's what these systems create in our digital lives, actually. And it goes against the idea of personal privacy, which is a pretty basic human concept on this planet Earth. And the reality is, people who are determined to do bad things will always find ways to hide. These kinds of broad surveillance systems often end up impacting